Hello, welcome back to another Game Dev Club tutorial. Today we'll be doing some more managers. We're going to be doing our content and our input managers. So let's go ahead and go into our managers class here. Make a new class, or it's a package, sorry. Call it content. I think we made a content manager in Pong, so this won't be too different. So private hash map string will be our key, and sound will be the type. We're gonna call it sound. I think in Pong we made a music one, but I'm not sure. But we won't be using a music one this time. Make sure you import hash map and all the types that we use. So private hash map. We're going to go ahead and do string again, and the bitmap font for our text font. Okay, so import that. Let's make our constructor public content sound equals new. Just copy this, paste that there. And do the same thing here. Font equals new. New that. Okay, we're also going to use a glyph layout. This is something that we use for getting some string stuff. So GL, and we want GL equals new glyph layout. Okay, so I forgot to silence my phone, I'm sorry. Okay, so now we're gonna do our sound stuff. So sound. Okay, so public void load sound takes in a folder string path, which is a file name, and string key, which will be how we will be getting to this object. Oh, oops. It got erased for some reason. Okay, so sound s, so we're making a sound, gdx dot audio dot new sound, new sound, gdx dot files dot internal path plus a forward slash. Oh wait, hold on, this is folder. Let's just hit enter there. Folder. There we go. Sorry. And now we sound dot put key sound. Okay, awesome. So now we can just do public sound get sound, so we can actually use it. String key return sound dot get key. Oh boy, there we go. Okay, so now we just need to do our bitmap font. Okay. Okay, so public void load bitmap font string folder string path string key integer size and color. Remember to use the GDX color. Color. Alright. So now we want free type font generator. Control M. Oh, I spelled that wrong. No, I imported it. Okay. Gen equals new free type font generator. And it's going to take in the file, so gdx .files and copy it from up here. Folder and path. Okay. Free type font generator lets us use true type fonts instead of having to use an actual bitmap. And it converts it to a bitmap font, so it looks better. You can research everything about that. There's a whole like science to it. So gen.generate font. We're just gonna take our size. So now we're gonna suppress the warning to the method. So just hover over it and click that so that it doesn't warn you. Font or bitmap font dot set color, and then finally font dot put key bitmap, and then gen dot dispose. Okay, cool. So now we're just gonna get the font. So public bitmap font get font string key is basically the same thing as sound. So return font dot get key. Alright, so we're gonna do our get width and get height methods. Now, since we're using, we're going to be having some stuff. I'll explain as I'm doing it. So public float get width. So now we're gonna do string key, string s. So this is the s that you use to get. This is the string that we're actually gonna have drawing on the screen. Float target width. So this is the maximum width that the string can take. So say for example we wanted to word wrap this. The max width would be from here to here, or from here to here, and then it will go to the next line. I don't think there is a word wrapping tool in Eclipse. If there is, then that'll be cool, but we don't actually need it right now. Anyway, target width, int align, h align. So this is just a constant, so we're gonna have align dot whatever, and that will be whether it's assigned center, left, and all that jazz. And then boolean wrap. So this says if it goes over the target width, does it wrap it? And that affects the height and I think the width as well. So gl.setText. Oh yeah, it does affect the width of the string. Okay. So this is our glyph layout. So we want this. Okay, so we want font.get key, and then we want our string, and then we want our font.get key.color, or get color, target width, h-align wrap, and then we're done. And then we return gl.width, and we can copy this. So the glyph layout pretty much formats your text. Oh, whoa, I can type. Sorry. Just letting you guys know, I code all of these tutorials beforehand, and for the big projects like Pong and Space Invaders, I put it on GitHub, and then I look at it while I'm doing these so I can give you the right code. So that's why I sometimes look over at, like, seem like I'm looking at something or something. I'm not stealing anyone's code or anything. You can actually go to the GitHub repository from the downloads page on the the club's website if you're interested in looking at the code. You can copy and paste that and then return gl.height, and then we're going to subtract the descent. Remember, we're doing that. We did that in Pong. So font.get key.get descent. Okay, and then we're going to do our other. So this is just miscellaneous stuff that the content will do. So public void remove all for object O in sound.values, sound S equals cast a sound to the object, and then we s.dispose. And then we also do for object O in font.values, bitmap font, BMF equals bitmap font, cast the bitmap font to O, and then we dispose that, so bmf.dispose. Okay, so now we just need our stop sound method. We probably won't use this, but it's always good to have copy paste ability. Stop sound, so for object O in sound.values, sound S, we're going to do the same thing, so sound, cast a sound to the object, and then s.stop. Alright, so this just stops it from playing, in case you want it to stop playing when it switches game states, or whenever you want it to stop playing. So that is our content manager. We can go ahead and add that to game right now. So just do, we can go ahead and add our assets too. So let's go ahead and get our assets. So they're on the game dev website. So just go to sshsgamedev.tinykountrygames.com, go into games, and here I have Space Invaders added. You can download the assets, and also you can check out the source code. See, this is the code of the game. It already exists. So anyway, download the assets here. Okay, so here are our assets. You can go ahead and extract these. Alright, so just drag and drop this into your assets folder. Click OK. Okay, so here we have the animations for the game, the Troubadour. We have our entities. We have our font, our icons, sounds, and our splash screen, which is that. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and make a public static content above our save. So public static content res, and then before we handle score, we're gonna handle content. Okay, so res equals new content, initialize it or instantiate it. Res.load bitmap font, font and path. We're going to PRS or PR start k.ttf type font. We're going to call it main. We're going to have font size 12 because the screen is pretty small. Color.white, and that will be it. Okay, so res.load sound, and we're gonna go ahead and do explosion.mp3, and we're gonna give it the key explosion. I'm gonna copy this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And we're going to change this to fast invader 1. These are just the sounds that I downloaded to get this, so that's why they're kind of weird. So invader 0, because it will be kind of an array. So fast invader 2. invader 1, fast invader 3, we're going to call that invader 2, and then fast invader 4, we're going to call this invader 3. So then we have shoot, this will be shoot. Then we have invader killed, and this will be EN for enemy, death. And then this will be UFO for the mothership, and we'll call it UFO. So let's just make sure that we got all our file names right and that it runs. So go ahead and run it. If it loads up without any errors, you are fine, you did it right. If not, then you probably have a spelling error somewhere in here. Okay, so now we're gonna do our input managers because we might as well just finish all our managers so that we can start with the game states in the next tutorial. So go ahead and make your new class, call it my input. Remember, this is just the private static boolean array keys. I'm pretty sure we used this in Pong, so this should be new to you guys. It's literally the same class, but with some different keys in there. So I'm just gonna blaze through this, just blaze through it, get it done. You can pause when I'm done and copy if you want. Yeah, so just copy and paste this. Right equals 1, shoot equals 2, or back equals 3, and start equals 4. Alright, so then we're going to do static so that it initializes without having to make an instance. Keys equals new boolean, number of keys, and p keys, new boolean. Remember, the p key stands for what was in the previous frame. So if it's if in the previous frame the key was false, but in this frame it was true, then that means that the key was just pressed. So that's why we need that. So, but you already know that because I taught it in Pong. So public static void update. So for int I equals 0, I is less than num keys I plus plus, p keys I is equal to keys I. Okay, so public static void set key, you probably remember this, int k, comma boolean b, keys k, not l, k equals b, public static boolean key down, this gets an int k, let's return keys k, and then finally public static boolean key pressed. So this is what if you just pressed it. So this is what stops the computer from just putting a string of F's when I just type one F there. So instead of it doing like that every time you press an F, just one F. It's the same. You need the same thing for games as well. So in K, return return keys K and not P keys K. So if the previous key was true and the current key is true, then this returns false because this is not. So it has to be, this needs to be false. Okay, So next we're gonna make our input processors. We're gonna have two. We're gonna have one for the keyboard and one for the controller. So go ahead and make a new class and make it extend input adapter from com.badlogic and call it my input processor. Alright, so we're going to go into source and we're going to override and implement methods. Key down, key up. They should all be familiar. Change this to return true. Change this to return true. This should all be familiar from Pong. This is nothing new, so again, I'm just going to do it. Follow along, pause where you need to. I won't be explaining any of this, so we're going to use our left and our right, or our A, so that you can use WASD as well as the arrow keys. So left, right, space, enter, escape. Okay. So this is right, and this is, oh, sorry, two equal signs to do a comparison. Alright, so D is right, and then we want space for shoot, and then we want enter for start and escape for back. Okay, so left, my input dot set key, my input dot left, true. Okay, so now we're gonna just copy this. Alright, so go ahead and change left to right, then change that to shoot, then this to start, then this to back. Okay, now copy everything in this method, put it here, set all of these to false. So when you let go of the key, it sets the key in the boolean to false. So yeah, go ahead, do this, pause it right here. Okay, now pause it right here, copy. Alright, good. Now let's move on to our controller processor, where I will be teaching some stuff. So my controller, pretty sure it's two L's, yes, processor. Now this one's going to extend the controller adapter, so make sure you're using from com.badlogic.gdx the controllers. Alright, click finish. Now here we're also going to override and implement some methods. So go into source, override, implement methods. Now we're going to do button down and button up, and then we're also going to do POV moved, so this one, and axis moved, which is this one. They all have to return true, so return true. So just copy this line and replace these with that line. Alright, so let's move POV moved up here, because that's how I have it on GitHub. So button down is basically the same thing, except we're not using left and right. So you can just literally like come in here, copy these and change this to button index, and then change this to the constants. So my constants, we're going to use A on the controller for the shooting. So yeah, so my constants here, my constants dot start will be start, and my constants dot back. So just copy this here, put it down here, change all this false. Now pause the video here so that we can move on to the next thing, because this one's a little bit more, so it's something that we haven't seen yet, so yeah. Alright, POV moved and axis moved. So these just tell whether or not the POV is the point of view, whatever, and it's the directional pad. So this just tells, this is called whenever it changes whatever button you're pressing. So we have the controller, which we won't worry about, the POV index, and the POV direction, which is an enum. We can actually go into this enum here. Come on. Here we go. Whatever. Okay. So we have center, north, south, east, west, northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest. So those are all the directions that your button can be pressed in. So yeah, we're gonna have some if-else. So if value is equal to POV direction dot east, and we're just gonna copy this, or it's dot northeast. So if it's at all to the right, southeast, northeast. It's going to set right to true. So my input dot set key, my input dot right to true, and then here else it's going to set it to false. So if the new direction that the button is not in the east at all, then it will set it to false. So same thing with left. So we're just going to change east to west. So west, north, west, and finally south, west. So go ahead and pause it and copy this down. Alright. Now axis moved. Axis would be your control sticks and your trigger buttons on the shoulder trigger buttons. So axis index is which one? So the left stick is axis 1, the right stick I think is 0, and the two shoulder buttons the two triggers are axis 2 on the Xbox controller. So we're gonna go ahead and do if axis index is equal to 1. So this is if it's the left stick, the standard one for moving. If value is greater than 0.3f, so this is checking if it's to the right. The value, how much it is to the right is between 0 and 1, and how much it is to the left is in between 0 and -1. So we're going to go ahead and just do this. Copy from here up. Paste it there. No, not this. Get rid of that. Okay, and then we're just going to copy this, paste it, add a negative here, and change this to less than. So so if it's less than -3, then it's left true, and if it's not, it's left false. Alright, so now we're going to put this into our, what doesn't like, oh, it doesn't like keys. You can just Control-Shift-L, get rid of everything that it doesn't want. Alright, so we can close this, and this, and this, and this. So go ahead and go into your game, and yeah, so at the bottom, at the very end of your create method up here, go ahead and do, so input gdx.input.set input processor new my input processor. So that's using the thing we use instead of the built-in one. So now controllers.add listener new my controller processor, so that it also does uses ours. So handle put. Okay, and now at the end of our render method, always call myInput.update so that we can use that. So you can go ahead and run this. As you can see, we got no errors, so we're good. So yeah, have a wonderful day. I will see you guys next time. I forgot to say that if you have any questions, you can email me, or you can text me, or Skype me, or whatever. I'm usually available. So, and you can find me around school. So, I'm usually available, if not always. So, yeah. Have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.